It was a glorious sunny day. Somewhere but not here in Southern California. Undeterred, a dozen-ish of us intrepid souls took our big-ass adventure bikes up Otay Mountain, in the rain. I'd not been up this particular road before. I had, however, been assured it was, at worst, a beginner to intermediate route. Okay, that's right up my alley. The fact that it was raining would probably make things a bit more challenging, but everything should be fine. Thought about taking the KTM, but I decided, nah, it's going to be wet. The KTM is squirrely as hell in the rain, so I'll take the GS, it'll be fine. If I tip over, I tip over. It is kind of what I do. It's my niche, it's what I'm good at. I did something today I haven't done in a long time, and that was set up a rear-facing GoPro, and I had forgotten how much I love this perspective. I love how Perry gets framed by the ruts and the road and the mountaintops, and that I could just watch the rear-facing footage all day of this. And so there's probably more of it in here, just gratuitous, isn't this pretty stuff. But I'm leaving it anyways because it's so freaking pretty. I can't not. Take note of these guys. They had pulled over to let us pass because generally speaking, bikes are faster on adventure trails than 4x4s. We always appreciate it when the 4x4s pull over and let us pass. It's so appreciated, it's so polite, and so we give them a little wave and off we go. After we passed our soon-to-be new best friends, we carried on up the hill, at least for a brief ways. One of us found he'd run afoul of first a rut and then the embankment/rock wall, and it took a few minutes for the lads to get him back up onto the road. And oh look, who's that coming up behind us now, instantly regretting letting the ostensibly faster bikes go ahead. I have, once again, run out of leg at a standstill or at slow speeds, and yeah.
Oh, we'll get you back up. Okay. Oh, we'll get you back up.
Oh, thank you so much.
It was just the nicest thing, sweetest, kindest thing, and I was very, very grateful for that.
Thank you so much.
But how did I repay them?
Go ahead.
Holy crap, there's so much oil smoke. I'm just drenching them in a cloud of nasty-ass oily smoke. I am so sorry, you guys. Oh my god. I did not realize you were completely ensconced in smoke. And it's not stopping. Why is it not stopping? Oh my god, it's not stopping. I am just a rolling ecological disaster. These guys have only had the merest taste of what the off-roading is like with ADVMotoGirl, because it's chaos and it's just gonna get worse, and they're in it now. They're in my world. All they can do is ride it out at this point. Meanwhile, around the corner, so having spent some time with first responders and working in the emergency department, coming upon this scene and seeing that there is a bike down in the canyon there, a good 30 feet down on rocks, instantly I'm thinking, someone is getting life flighted out of here right now. This is the thing that is happening. Everything has gone completely cattywampus. This is reality right now, and I need to get my shit together mentally to handle it.
Is everybody okay?
Did you see that?
No.
He went flying head first off the bike.
He's okay? We're gonna need to get out of the road. You okay? You guys, move your...
We gotta move these bikes.
Yeah.
These wonderful people are going to help tow him out. So somebody explained to me what exactly happened. He was stopped, they turned him around.
Well, the bike went down there.
The bike went down there.
Yeah. This was, of course, a shitty situation, and Markus's bike will obviously never be the same again, but if you stop and think about it, this could have been a horrific accident. Not only was nobody being life flighted away, not only was nobody hurt at all, the guy stood up and walked away. You can literally see in the background the four people who would help pick me up earlier, and they are wonderful human beings who have not only the right equipment to help rescue the bike, but they also knew how to use it correctly, which is crucial. And they were more than willing to help, even though that was most definitely not how they planned to spend their day. I think it was Jeremy that's operating the winch. He knew exactly what to do. He was, mindful of his surroundings and what people were doing at all times, and so, we couldn't have lucked out any more in terms of, good Samaritans that happened by.
There was some contention as to what exactly happened and why, but the owner of the bike, the gentleman who was down there that asked if he was okay
Wearing the black and yellow, that he was not on the bike when it went over the cliff, as it turns out.
Oh no.
One of the other riders was trying to help him through a difficult spot, and the bike chose that particular moment to have a complete brake meltdown.
Well, instead of a ride, we have a story.
You ended up buying your bike, didn't you?
Oh, fuck yeah, he did.
And not only just the incident itself could have been disastrous, winching it up, it's a 650-pound motorcycle in a very bad spot, and it's slippery, it's muddy. That thing could have slipped one way or the other and taken out, one of the guys that was trying to get it up the hill. If the guys that were winching it up did not know what they were doing. Fortunately, they were very experienced off-road, adventure-type people, and it gives me goosebumps to think about, because I've never had somebody unwilling to help me on a motorcycle in general, and especially, in the ADV community, because when you're out there, especially in Southern California, there are a lot of things that can kill you. Exposure, plants, animals, your own stupidity, random happenstance. There's everything out here can be dangerous, and so we have to take care of each other. And I'm so grateful to everybody who's ever helped me, and I'm so especially grateful to these Camp Dad guys, total strangers who just basically descended from heaven to help us. A few of us decided to keep going up to the top as planned, but most of us were either going to turn around and go back or stick it out with Markus until we could figure out his tow situation. And of course I was going to stay with Markus because we don't leave a man behind. That's not how we do. So we had to get ourselves turned around, and it doesn't look like much here. It never does in the video, but it was very slippery. There were a few unfortunately placed ruts. It had kind of a weird camber to it, and if you, like me, do not have a lot of inseam to spare, things can quickly fall over. So Perry, not a stranger to picking up my motorcycle, unfortunately, offered to ride it uphill real quick into a wide spot, get it turned around, and then bring it back down for me, and we would carry on from there.
No, oh my god.
And that was the moment when I thought I was going to see my beloved friend Perry tumble over backwards and plummet down the same 30 feet into those same rocks where we had just extricated Markus's bike from, and I was afraid he was going to be very badly hurt during that process. Thankfully, his cat-like reflexes saved him from that fate. We got Markus's bike down to a reasonably wide spot in the road and began our descent back to the parking lot where the tow truck would be able to meet us. One of the riders on a GSA took Markus down 2 up, which I respect immensely in that slippery stuff. And they stayed behind a little bit to get things secured while Perry, Jonathan, and I went down first. I realized that I was leading the way. Oh boy. I am not an accomplished dirt rider at this point. I still feel like I'm very new at it after a year and a half of flailing against this particular wall. So I'm very nervous when I am leading groups in the dirt. I feel very uncomfortable with that right now. And thus we began our descent as I led our small group at breakneck speeds down Otay Mountain Road, throwing caution to the wind. Nobody would ever accuse me of careening
down the road that day. My pace could have been mistaken for any number of activities that did not involve adventure motorcycling. But we did arrive safely at the bottom, so there's that. In my head, I was just repeating the first rule of first responders: don't make yourself another casualty. I did not want to make the problem worse. And it was definitely just that. It was totally not also maybe even primarily the fact that I'm terrified of slippery downhill substrate. Sandy or slippery and downhill means unhappy Aaron. We are all so exceptionally grateful to have run into these amazing people who helped us. Without the Camp Dads people, we'd probably still be up there in the rain. When I got home, I told two of my friends, Shudderev and Wado Potato, what had happened, and they said, holy shit, we heard about that. We had no idea it was you guys. I'm just thinking, you heard about that? How did you hear about that? Turns out the Camp Dads guys posted about it on Facebook. And I'm really glad they did, because now I know who they are, who to give credit to for being such cool guys. So thank you, Camp Dads. Life is good, and you know we now have an adventure. You know, it without adversity, it's just a ride, right? It's not an adventure. You have to overcome adversity, you know, to have it really be something, to have it really mean something. You know. In terms of adventure, it can just be a nice ride. Obviously, every ride doesn't have to be an adventure, but man, stuff like this, that makes it all the more adventurous.